You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean to call out teams, but I will. I look at The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? I mean, this guy's team is The Walking Dead because every player on his team is about 35 years old. And he won't make a trade. And he complains about the weak spots on his roster. But if you look at his bench, a lot of times he has the capacity to fill those needs, but he doesn't. And I think, for me personally, I think that's probably why he's one of the worst GMs in this league.
But he competes every year, though. Not defending him, but he does compete every year. He's there every single year.
And I think the way you describe his team is almost like a 401k. You know what I mean? It's safe. He'll compete. He'll be decent, but I mean, he just doesn't strike me as somebody who I'm worried about or think is dangerous. I think there's just I think it's just a terrible strategy at winning and building a team long term. Like, if you want me to ask, if you want to be honest, in a couple of years, I think his team is going to be terrible.
I can see that.
Once Diggs and a couple of his other guys, and he's unwilling to make moves, his team might be terrible. You know what I mean? So I think I take examples from other people of how I don't want to run my team, and that's another team where I look at it and I have to say, like, at least I'm not him. You know what I mean? Another one is my own brother. You know what I mean? I mean, that guy is probably one of the worst negotiators when it comes to trade in general. You know what I mean? Because he'll say no to a fantastic deal, then turn around and trade everything for,
But don't you think he has the same mindset as everybody else? I'll gut your team as long as I will get what I want.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes I think he's a pretty easy person to trade with, in the sense that if you have something he wants, he'll give you the world for it. You know what I mean? And I think with him, all you have to do is work some psychological games and tell him, like, convince him, that this player is the next big thing, and I think you can shake him down pretty good. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think Z has definitely become a lot like my brother when it comes to trades. I think they both are extremely unreasonable when it comes to trade talks.
They want to build their rosters with one move.
Yeah, they both give me headaches to talk to. Moj, I won't even text him anymore for a trade. Abdullah, he'll text me 6 times a week during the season. Fuss, in the past, I've had some good trade talks with him. He's gotten emotional on me a couple of times, but he's definitely someone you can definitely work with. Honestly, I'd say maybe the easiest trade partners in this league are probably Abdullah and Mr. Monday Night. To be honest, those are probably 2 guys that you can really strike a deal with. And
I've made like 2 trades with you, and they were both pretty quick deals.
Right? Yeah, I say that in the sense that me and you have never really had any rips while making trades, but me and you have also not been constant trade partners.
Yes. I think we've only had like two trades done together.
Right. So I think in that sense, yeah. I don't think we've ever had any issues making any trades. But like I said, I just think for whatever reason we've just never been constant trade partners.
Here's the thing, because we both target the same players. The thing with me is I always say I'll never make a trade unless I know I'm winning out on it. Does that work 100% of the times? No, it doesn't. But when I make my moves, if you look at my tendencies the past, you've been in this league 7 years, if you pay attention to my moves come in flurries. Mm-hmm. I'll be quiet, no move, and all of a sudden I'll just drop 2-3 trades real quick, back to back to back. I like to think I'm opportunistic. Like, I wait for the right moment to make my move. But that being said, we're pushing close to time, so I have one final question for you. It's a 2-part question.
Okay.
Your opinion of the Drama Bowl, what you like and don't like about it, and your opinion of each member in the Drama Bowl, and one last bonus question. Do you agree with my theory of Jekyll and Hyde can't make a move without Mr. Monday Night's approval?
Okay, so let's start at the top, which was my opinion on the Drama Bowl. Honestly, I think it's a fantastic league. It's a very fun league. It's very competitive. I love the talk. I mean, I love the competitiveness. I love how everybody's at each other's throats. I love the sneakiness of everybody. You know, everyone's family here, so we know each other's sneakiness, and you know who's gonna backstab you, and you know who's gonna have your back. So that's definitely fantastic. It's definitely a lot of fun. As for the opinion of everybody, do you want me to just go down the list?
Let's go down the list, buddy. You want me to start naming you the players and you just answer them?
No, I'm on the website. I can do this. Let's start at 12. Let's go Fuss. Like I said, I think in the last couple of years, he's really, really improved as a GM. And he's going to have a juggernaut for years to come. You know what I mean? And I think he's done a fantastic job. He still has a lot of assets. He's somebody that I think this team will be good for a few years. Who's Elder Killer?
Elder Killer is Baja, beating bitches.
Yeah, he kind of just strikes me as a little bit of a fly on the wall. I know he does have his one championship victory. I know he has, I think, 2 appearances or 3 appearances, but other than that, honestly, he kind of just strikes me as a little bit of an irrelevant member in general. I have made a couple of trades with him. Definitely easy to talk to. Good guy. But as far as, danger, not really much with this guy. His team's a little bit weak. It's only getting weaker. But he did make some good moves this offseason. I will give him that. He got a lot of picks, even though he got screwed on 3 lottery picks.
I know. He reminds me every day.
He does have Calvin Ridley coming back next year, which will be big. Chris Olave was a fantastic pickup for him, but his running backs are weak. But he can definitely fill that in this draft easily. Who's A Elder?
Conjugal visits. Abdullah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a guy that you have to give it to because he competes every year. You know what I mean? No matter what his roster looks like. I mean, this guy sneaks into the playoffs every single year. I think I can only count on my hand since I've been in the league 1 or 2 times where he hasn't been in. So he's definitely a guy that, I mean, he's a tough competitor. Probably needs to dial it back with how many trade offers he sends me, but as far as his trade offers go, they're either right in the ballpark or they're nowhere near what I want, and it's never anywhere in between. But he's definitely a competitor, and I have to give it to him. Jekyll and Hyde, I mean, that's a guy where, I mean, like I said, this guy, amazing record every year on paper. He's definitely got one of the best rosters in the league, but for whatever reason, I mean, every time his team has a scheduled union and they form and go on strike first week of the playoffs every single season. And they're just never there. I mean, like half of the guys show up and it's like, I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, honestly, how bad his team does in the first round every year, but I won't talk about how bad that is anymore. League villain, I mean, that's a guy who, when he came into the league, definitely showed some promise. Like I said, he made it to the Final Four his first year or 2, and hasn't stopped talking about it since, but really since then, he hasn't really been anything special. His team has gotten progressively worse every single year. He's gotten progressively harder to work with every single year. He definitely has some young pieces, but I think the problem with him is he overvalues a lot of his pieces. I mean, like the other day he was coming in jumping that he traded for a 30-something-year-old Derrick Henry, and, but he gave up a ton of assets for him. And I think he's trending in the wrong direction, but he definitely showed some promise early on. So, I mean, he has the assets to get back on his feet, but like I said, I think his issue is he overvalues his guys a little bit too much, and that's his downfall. Mm-hmm. Momo Johnson, not sure if he exists. Everybody says he does. I went up to the guy who was allegedly Momo Johnson. This guy doesn't even know he has a team. But I guess he's a member. I don't really have anything to say about him yet. I think I texted him for a trade one time, and I don't even remember how that went, honestly. I think he told me to kill myself or something. Moj, Moj is, he's a former champion. I mean, there's definitely a big fat asterisk on that championship because, He took that team midway through the season, and the only thing he had to do was start the guys. But he is a champion. I hate to say it. However, if you want to look at it since, his team has been progressively worse every single year. He tanks every single year. His tank never works. Did pick up some players this year. His team could potentially be on the trending upward, but unless he brings in a third intern to fix his team, I don't see how this team goes north, at least true north. I mean, eventually, I guess, a blind squirrel gets an acorn every once in a while, but
that's true.
I definitely think he definitely has the assets, you know what I mean? But, and listen, I hope he proves me wrong, but he's yet to do so 7 years in this league. Mr. Monday Night, top 2 GM in this league outside, excluding myself. Top 2 GM in this league. I think does a lot of right things. I think his team could be a lot better if he didn't make so many questionable trades. And I think sometimes he actually declines trades that would help him. Definitely probably has a say in Mosey's team. I think I have a working conspiracy that playoff week 1, he tells his team, okay, stop looking good, and that's why they keep losing round 1. I don't have anything to prove that yet, but that's just kind of what I believe is kind of going on there. Evil Empire, again, top 2 GM. What can you say? 4-time championship, 5-time appearance. Obviously, the one loss coming to yours truly. The reason why he doesn't have a 3-peat. But, again, consistently good every year, has a great team, a lot of great players, and knows how to really rebuild a team. I mean, traded Kyle Pitts, who is looking like a bust for a lot. So you got to give it to him. He can negotiate. As for The Walking Dead, I kind of said my opinion on him earlier. He's a former champion, so you can't really say much on that respect, but he kind of reminds me of Bahat in a lot of ways, where he's kind of just in the league.
They both have similarities as far as they both barely traded, barely made moves, but until this year, Bahat finally decided to blow it all up. Mm-hmm. So let's see where that takes him from there.
And that's where I would probably draw their differences, is that Bahat will make moves if he needs to. I think, my problem with The Walking Dead is he's way too scared to make any moves. And I think every year he uses the same cop-out excuse as injuries. I mean, listen, everybody faces injuries. I faced a ton of injuries this year. I did use it as an excuse in the beginning of this episode, but at the end of the day, I will say this, great GMs can overcome injuries. So at the end of the day, at one point, it has to stop becoming an excuse. You kind of have to make it work.
Especially when it happens every single year, man. Then maybe you need to retool your roster.
Mm-hmm. Right, absolutely, and I completely agree with you.
All right, buddy, we're pushing up against the clock here. We actually went past the limit, but it's all right. It was good talking to you, Sam. We'll see you in the next future episodes coming up. It was a good chat, buddy.
Yeah, good chat. See you later.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye.